Hey guys, I'm gonna start doing a kind of series for each beer, which the first one's gonna be a recipe build, the next one's gonna be the actual brew day, and then the third one is going to be the tasting and like the final stats. So subscribe so that you get notified when I post these. I'm gonna try to do them pretty sequentially and not be a jerk and string it along for that long. But editing takes forever. So, stick around. I hope you guys liked seeing my brain go in circles and try to explain what I'm thinking. It's weird. A big part of what I enjoy about brewing is making my own recipes. So I thought it might be fun for you guys to kind of see how I do it, and maybe it'll inspire you to make your own recipes. I mean, I have kind of built my name through Instagram and YouTube, and if I slap Flora Brewing on something, I want it to actually be my own. Like, I don't really do clones, except for my Guinness clone, but my Guinness clone is actually way off from Guinness because I hate Guinness. It's more like a if I liked Guinness kind of Guinness. So I'm gonna do a New England IPA. It is my favorite beer style. So I actually don't have a great recipe for one. I have my Road Sody recipe, which is pretty New Englandy, but I don't think it would necessarily be considered a classic style of what a New England IPA should be though. So we're gonna just throw together a recipe right now. I have not prepared for this at all, except for cleaning my kitchen because it was gross. We're gonna do the recipe in Brewfather. That's how I build all my recipes. Super easy. I really like their platform. There's a link to download it below if you want. First thing I do when I decide to make a beer is obviously pick which style I want to make. So we picked New England IPA. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto the Beer Judge Certification Program site, see if they have a description of what a New England IPA should be. Then I'm going to do some Googling. Oh shit, I forgot a beer. I picked up some Diamond Puddles yesterday from Cooperage. This is not a New England IPA. So actually, one good thing to mention is, say I like a beer. I like a specific kind of New England IPA. What I'm probably gonna do right now is actually, I really like Heady Topper, and they're kind of like the original New England IPA. So I'm gonna look and see what kind of hops they use, what kind of malt bill they use, if it's listed online. You can get a ton of information because commercial breweries really have this thing where, like, even if we do give you the recipe, you'll never be able to recreate it because our water is different, our humidity is different, our just terroir is different from what hops we get versus what hops you get. And like, there's so many factors that go into making every beer. That's why I give my recipes away, actually, is because, like, even if you guys make the recipes that I make, I can't. Consistency is a problem. So I know that if I try really, really, really hard, I can replicate a beer and from my previous batch, but it's not easy. Anyway, drinking Diamond Puddles. This is not a New England IPA. It is a Galaxy Citra hops. I'm assuming West Coast. I'm not gonna pour it in a glass because I'm not doing a review. But I liked the label, that's why I bought it. So we're going to bjcp.org. That is the Beer Judge Certification Program's website. And if you go right here to the navigation, you can see the style guidelines. So on the 2015 version, New England IPA is not a style. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna Google New England IPA style guidelines. Okay, Brewers Association, though, did put out style guidelines. So I'm going to there. Okay, style guidelines. We're going to ale styles. So the New England is going to be a juicy or hazy India Pale Ale. New England IPA, straw to deep light amber, low to a very high degree of cloudiness, typical Starch, yeast, hop, protein, and or other compounds contribute to the wide range of hazy appearances. There's a bunch of ways you can get haze in a New England IPA. So you can add wheat flour, just like, all-purpose flour. That'll give you a haze. That's like when you see something that looks like orange juice mixed with milk. That's probably what happened, is they dosed it with some just regular old wheat flour. There's also, like, if you get like the super orange juice looking ones, that is typically a hop haze, and that's caused by the yeast and the hops having an interaction. So that's why you want to pitch the hops early when you're making a New England IPA or juicy IPA. There's other ways to do it too. I think you can use oatmeal too, as and oatmeal gives a really nice body. Perceived malt and aroma flavor, so low to medium malt, aroma, and flavor may be present. Yeah, typically for like a light pale beer, you wouldn't expect much of that. Perceived hop aroma and flavor, medium high to very high hop aroma and flavor, present with attributes typical of hops from any origin. So that means you can use whatever hop you want and use a lot of them. Perceived bitterness, low to medium though. So we're gonna use our hops in the later part of the boil and a lot in the dry hop. So, I might even like kind of experiment with this one and only do like Whirlpool and dry hops. Fermentation characteristics, medium to medium high fruity esters are present and can contribute to the perception of sweetness and be complementary to the hop profile. Diacetyl should not be present. So diacetyl is like that buttery flavor. I had a German, I would assume it was a Pilsner, but it might have been a Kolsch or something. But I had it at a German beer bar, and it tasted like straight up like, kind of like caramel corn, but like not in a good way. It was super like buttery. It was gross. Body, medium low to medium high. A silky or full mouthfeel may contribute to overall flavor profile. So we're gonna go for that silky and full mouth. I can't say it, but what I think I'm gonna end up doing is add oatmeal to it to get that. And I gotta figure out when I'm going grocery shopping because I'm brewing tomorrow. Okay, and additional notes. Grist can include oats, wheat, or other adjuncts to promote haziness. Lactose can use to enhance body and balance. So that's when you get into your milkshake IPAs. The term juicy is frequently used to describe taste, aroma attributes often present in these beers, which result from late, often very large additions of hops. So that's the key, is the late, large hop additions. We are gonna get through some of my inventory and I'm gonna show you guys how much stuff I have. So for original gravity, we're looking between 1.06, 1.07, final gravity 1.008 to 1.02, ABV 5 to 6%. This might be a double hazy IPA. Bitterness 30 to 50. Yeah, so the IBU is gonna be kind of weird in this one because like a lot of calculators don't take into account the bittering that can come, or perceived bittering that can come from dry hops, and the color should be between 3 and 7 SRM. Fortunately, all that information is stored in the Brewfather app. So I'm gonna pop that bad boy open. And welcome to my Brewfather. Okie dokie, so recipes. We're gonna make a new recipe. We don't know what we're gonna call it yet because we don't know what's going in it yet. So I'm just gonna put NEPA. Okay, so we're doing all grain brewing, and I'm gonna change, I usually use the Grainfather equipment profile for my claw hammer system, but I'm gonna do this brew in a bag. Just got that awesome burner and I'm still stoked on it. So yeah, we are going to use the brew in a bag, no sparge. We are going to make a 5.5 gallon batch. Boil time, 60 minutes, fine. Cool, whatevs. I bumped my brew house efficiency last time and I didn't hit it, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. We're gonna, well, I'm still, I cannot get my brew in a bag, like, levels to work. I don't know. I think it's because I keep changing my, my base malt. So I'm like cycling through brands, and what I usually use is Breeze, and what we used in Washington is Breeze. And I think they're the best. So So we're not doing a sparge because it doesn't make a difference even if you do one when you're doing brew and bag, at least in my experience. Hop stand temperature. Sure, we'll do 176. We're going to do it for 10 minutes. All right, so now we are going to pick our style. New England, is that a thing? New England IPA. They listed in here. What I just read from the Brewers Association is different from what the BJCP provisional that is in here is. So this says like between 6 and 9%, which is what I actually like. Original gravity of 1.06 to 1.085, final gravity 1.01 to 1.015. I'm probably going to be lower than that just by way of how things end up working here. And IBU between 25 and 60. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look up Heady Topper, because that's the beer I like, that we're going to kind of figure out what they do, like what makes their beer successful, and then we're going to kind of copy them a little bit. Sometimes I do, if I've never brewed a style before, I will look up clone recipes and then kind of modify them. There's also a really great website, Brew Your Own. Brew Your Own's a fantastic resource. So I will read through this because they give you tips on how to make it. It's not just like, oh, this is what it's supposed to taste like. These are the levels you're supposed to hit. They give you hints on like how to make it the best version of that style that you can. And it really helps when you're making your own recipes because we'll take all the help we can get. So what I'm gleaning from this Brew Your Own article is that you want to use fruity hops, right? So they suggest Citra, Mosaic, Galaxy, Nizaka, El Dorado. But what you're focusing on is late addition, so like your Whirlpool hops. So we're going to do ours at around 176 degrees. And then multiple doses of dry hops are common. So we're going to do a dry hop. I'm going to do it on day 1. And then on, say, day 3, we're going to do a second dose of dry hops. So that's basically going to be my timing. I haven't looked at Heady Toppers yet, but I want to use this experimental variety that I used in my black IPA that was super juicy. I think it was 562 by Yakima Valley. And it was pretty like mango-y, which I really love in a beer. I'm going to start with RO water, and then I'm going to add some calcium chloride to give it a little bit of sweetness. But I'm going to just kind of rely on my Brewfather app to give me that idea. Okay, so I can't find any Alchemist about what they put in Heady Topper, so we're going to look at a clone recipe. So what More Beer does for their clone recipe of their Heady Topper clone topped with hops double IPA. I'll link to that down below. You can just get the recipe and the whole kit if you want, if you don't want to go through all this that I do every time. So they do Apollo, Centennial, Columbus, Simcoe, and Amarillo. I think what I want to do is, I know I have some Amarillo, and I'm going to do Amarillo, the HB 562 or whatever that is. And I have some Centennial on my shelf right there, so maybe we'll just do that. Sorry this isn't more organized, but this is like kind of how my brain works. It's not in like, I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea without being like, oh, I already know what I'm putting in and whatever, because this is what I do every single time I'm trying to make a recipe, and I make a lot of new recipes. I get real bored of drinking the same beer all the time. So, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a trip and go into my fridge. Okay, so I've got some Citra in that thing. Don't want to use that. You know how I feel about Citra. I also have some Medusa though, but whatever. So this is my in-use hop drawer. So here's my Amarillo. So that's good. Pull that out. What else do I have? Motueka. HBC 586. That's what I wanted to use. Let's see. Galaxy. Ooh, maybe I'll do some Galaxy. Actually, yeah. So there's not very much Galaxy in here, but we're gonna use that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, grab these, grab my scale that's dirty, and head back. So this we're gonna put in the hop stand. It's a higher alpha acid. I guess these are all kind of high alpha acid. Galaxy can taste like cat pee to me, so I'm a little iffy about it. So we'll put 1 ounce of that in the hop stand. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now since we're figuring our shit out. So I usually put most of my hops in my inventory. Hop stand. Okay, so that gave us 7 IBU. We got a lot of IBU to go. We're just gonna kind of work this out. So I know that I really liked the HBC 586. I really like the aroma. I really like the flavor. So we're definitely gonna do some of that in both the hop stand and in the dry hop. And let's say 2 ounces in the hop stand and 2 ounces in the first dry hop on day 1. The way this calculator is going to work is going to be kind of weird because I'm doing most things in the super late editions. So it doesn't take into account the bitterness that the dry hop's going to get you, but that's perceived bitterness. It's not actual bitterness, I guess. I don't know. So we're just going to kind of like dry hop the crap out of this and hope it turns out and hope it doesn't get super like vegetal. I'm going to also throw 1 ounce in a day 3 dry hop, and then we're gonna do Amarillo, 10.2% Amarillo in 1 ounce in the 3-day dry hop and 2 in the 1-day dry hop. So that'll give us 6 ounces altogether in a 5.5 gallon batch of dry hop only. So yeah, it should be pretty freaking dry hoppy. So our IBU is actually really low. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. I'm gonna do 3 ounces of HBC in the hop stand. Okay, so it's right at the cusp of being okay. Okay, so we're at 29 IBU now. We're relying heavily on the dry hop to get us the flavor of bitterness and the perception of bitterness to balance the sweetness that this is gonna have. So I usually start out with 10 pounds of Turo just because it's easy. And I have the raw Turo right now. So that gives us a 4.5%-ish. I'm gonna do 2 pounds of flaked oats. Okay, so we're at 5.4%. All I'm gonna do for my malt bill is Turo and oats, so I'm just gonna bump up the Turo to 12 pounds. That got us to 6.2. So I'm gonna call that good, and I don't know what my brew house efficiency is going to end up being. I've been fighting it lately, so we're going to leave it at that. And for water, so I'm going down to the water profile calculator. If you are getting into water, it's really not hard if you use Brewfather. You just change, like I got my water tested with my Pure Filter, so that's what's here. But I'm going to go get some RO water because I really want to target this. So I want a hoppy NEPA auto, and it tells you what to do. Easy peasy. Okay, so save adjustment to recipe. So mash water, I typically just do 7 gallons if I'm going for, I'll do it 7.5 if I'm going for a 5 gallon batch, 5.5 gallon. We have our mash here, so we're gonna do 45 minutes at 152. Yeast, oh yeah. We gotta go look at yeast. So for yeast, we have British 2 and Irish, Safale 05. Ooh, that's a good option. I didn't realize I had that. It looks clean too. Kveik. Stuff for Kentucky Common, which I assume is some lager and whatever alt beer that I used in my ghosts for no reason. and French Saison from my transfer earlier. And then I have like some farmhouse yeast, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to use Safale 05. We figured out what yeast we want, so Safale 05. I save my yeast, so it's just always in a slurry and whatever. Saving yeast is a really easy way to save money when you're brewing, because I feel like yeast is the most expensive part a lot of time, especially if you're doing like higher alcohol ones and you're not doing starters, like fucking $8 a pack. And if you're spending $16 a pack, but you're like all the ingredients, even if you didn't buy them in bulk like I do, you spend maybe $30 to brew a beer if you're doing all grain. But when you throw in $16 alone for the yeast, it's like, I may as well buy beer. Okay, anyway. Okay, so, you don't have to do water additions as long as your water is relatively chlorine-free. If your water isn't chlorine-free and your water authority doesn't use chloramine to treat your water, if it's just chlorine, you can just fill up your kettle, let it sit overnight, and you won't get any medicine-y flavors. Chloramine is harder to get rid of, but you can use Camden tablets. They're basically, they use them for wine to kill the yeast in wine, but they attach to like chloramine molecules and turns them into sulfites, so it works great. So I'm gonna try to start doing the recipe build for most of the beers that I make, especially if they're newer ones. I mean, I've done most of my recipes already on the YouTube, so I'm having to make new recipes. So I want to do like 3-part series, so like building the recipe, brewing the beer, tasting the beer kind of thing. So subscribe so that you get notified when I post them. I am not on any schedule right now at all. I don't know. I still have a full-time job. It's really hard. Thanks for watching and sticking through my brain patterns, I guess. I will see you in a couple, I hope, days. I hope that I'm not a total asshole and like write this recipe and then fucking post it like a week later. That's total dick move. I'm gonna try not to do it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.